After announcing that they're looking for partners to build their own official Layer 2 network, the Kraken exchange has officially been targeted for a second time by the SEC, alleging that they're now operating an unregistered securities exchange. What is going on, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central. My name is Fareed. I've got a super quick video that is important nonetheless, touching on the broader crypto space. So for those of you who've been keeping up with some of the allegations, about 4 or 5 months ago, we saw the SEC charging, or at least alleging, that Binance as well as Coinbase, arguably both of the two largest exchanges, were operating as unregistered securities brokers, dealers, or exchanges. Now, those particular lawsuits are still underway. We haven't got an official settlement. However, there was a lot of success and a lot of celebration when we saw XRP or Ripple actually win their case against the SEC. As many of you know, that was a huge blowback to Gary Gensler and his entire office, basically trying to stifle the innovation that we're seeing here within the United States. As a result, we've seen multiple platforms, multiple companies, and multiple networks basically taking their operations outside of the US in order to move into more crypto-friendly nations, for example, like Dubai in the UAE. So with that said, what I want to highlight today is the fact that right after Kraken, I believe it's the third largest exchange, officially announced that they wanted to launch their own Layer 2, that we now have them being targeted for a second time by the SEC. Now, I don't think it's a coincidence. We've seen the Binance Smart Chain, or the BNB network, which is basically run by Binance, or at least which was created by Binance, which is operating as their own network. We've also seen the Base network, which is the Layer 2 running on top of ETH or Ethereum, which was released by Coinbase. So the two biggest players in this space right now in terms of crypto exchanges have their own networks. And then as the third one comes along and says that they want to create their own network, a couple of days later, we now see a big lawsuit coming against them. So this does not surprise me by any means. I think that the SEC is literally grasping at straws. And one thing is for sure is that they're going to continue to do so until they get a win or something that pulls out in their favor. Again, with the fact that XRP has kind of set the precedent, we do have, I think, a lot of the favor within the crypto side, but SEC is not slowing down. So what I want to do today is briefly jump into all the details surrounding this. And then as always, I want to get your thoughts to as what you potentially think might be going on here with this scenario. So again, I want to maybe just kind of kick things off here with what we already know. So this was a post released back in February of 2023, which is titled "Kraken to Discontinue Unregistered Offer and Sale of Crypto Asset Staking as a Service Program." And they're also set to pay $30 million to settle their SEC charges. So quite the fee there being paid out by the Kraken exchange. That is no penny here in this space. So not only did they have to discontinue their staking service, right, they also had to actually pay the SEC $30 million. What strikes me as odd here is that why was Kraken not included in the original lawsuits, or around the same exact time frame that we also saw Binance and Coinbase also being alleged as securities brokers and dealers? So it states here, according to the SEC's complaint, again, this was back in February, since 2019, Kraken has offered and sold its crypto asset staking services to the general public, whereby Kraken pools certain crypto assets transferred by investors and stakes them directly on behalf of those investors. Now, this is nothing new. Staking has always been a thing. And of course, we tend to tell people to stake with their own wallet or with a self-custodial wallet where they have all of the access and control and the keys of their own assets. Now, for people that are new into the space, sometimes they tend to just kind of err on the side of letting these exchanges do it for them because of simplicity stake. And sometimes they just don't trust themselves to take care of their own keys. So with a platform like Kraken, they were doing just that, allowing people, for example, to purchase ADA. And then if they ran their own stake pool, they would basically just take the ADA from their exchange that users held and then put that directly into their pool and then keep a portion of the returns, but provide the majority back over into the user. This is nothing new. Again, we've seen platforms like Coinbase that also offer this. We've also seen platforms like Binance that also have their own stake pools on Cardano and other networks as well. So again, this was back in February, and we're just seeing them now also being sued by the SEC, but this time for operating an unregistered securities broker or exchange. So this was just released about 30 minutes ago, guys. So I'm doing my best here to bring you guys all the latest news. As always, if you guys do appreciate it, I would appreciate you if you could tap that like button. If it's your first time stopping by Dapp Central and you want more breaking news like this, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions surrounding this entire ordeal, then please make sure to go ahead and leave those down below. Now, it states here, the Securities and Exchange Commission today charged Payward Inc. and Payward Ventures, together known as Kraken, with operating Kraken's crypto trading platform as an unregistered securities exchange, broker dealer, and clearing agency. Again, I don't think that this is by coincidence. They've just made a pretty big announcement surrounding the fact that they were looking at Ethereum or ERC20 compatible networks to host their own layer 2. And I actually also had released a video about the fact that Charles Hoskinson had reached out to Jesse Powell, I believe the operator and founder of Kraken, to see if he'd potentially be interested in operating Kraken as a partner chain or a side chain utilizing Cardano's brand new service layer, right, or service framework. So again, I don't think it's a coincidence. But on top of that, we're also seeing more eyeballs coming back into crypto. So this might actually be the SEC's last potential attempt in order to kind of stifle what is going on here with crypto before we begin to see the bull run. Of course, if we see Binance or Coinbase win their particular lawsuit, that would definitely give a huge edge to platforms like Kraken and other smaller exchanges that might also be under the SEC scrutiny or the SEC's eyes. So I want to quickly break this down, and then I want to jump into the article surrounding Jesse Powell, who recently announced that he was looking for an L2 in order to launch their network. Now, what they're stating is that through the Kraken platform, they allegedly provided a marketplace that brings together the orders for securities of multiple buyers and sellers using established non-discretionary methods under which orders interact and thus operates as an exchange. They also allege that Kraken engages in the business of effecting securities transactions for the accounts of Kraken customers and thus operates as a broker, as well as they also engage in businesses of buying and selling securities for its own account with an applicable exception and thus operates as a dealer. And then last but not least, they also allege that Kraken serves as an intermediary in settling transactions in crypto asset securities by Kraken customers, and therefore they're acting as a securities depository and thus operating as a clearing agency. So literally coming at them from every single angle, alleging that they're an exchange, a broker, a dealer, and a clearing agency. We saw the same exact 4 charges being brought up against Binance as well as Coinbase. Again, I know that they're going to be using the ruling within the XRP and library case in order to potentially play into their favor. And as their potential court dates are closer than the one that we're going to see with Kraken, Kraken could potentially get the better edge of the SEC if we have potential rulings or positive rulings in favor of Coinbase and Binance. Now, I mentioned that this hasn't just happened at a random time. This is right after we're seeing Jesse Powell, right, basically reaching out and asking for other networks as to whether or not they want to host or potentially collaborate with Kraken to build out their own L2. So again, I released a video highlighting the fact that Charles Hoskinson reached out to Jesse in order to potentially work with them on their L2. So I kind of want to turn it over to you guys. Let me know what you guys think here. Is the SEC basically grasping at straws? Do they have something? Why would they have waited, 8 to 9 months before following up with this, knowing the entire time, right, that Kraken operated as a crypto exchange? Again, they're the 3rd largest. So To me, it's not a coincidence. They've targeted number 1, number 2, and they're now going after number 3. What doesn't make sense is the fact that they knew way back in February that they were providing staking as a service then. And so what has changed between then and now to where they now want to also charge them as a broker, dealer, and clearinghouse exchange? So again, unfortunate news here. We haven't seen this actually impact the price of Bitcoin just yet. It's still trading at about 37,500-ish. I'll be keeping an eye out on that particular price, and of course the just entire broader and crypto markets. That said, again, let me know what you guys think down below. If you guys found today's update to be helpful, please go ahead and smash that like button. Not only does it help to get this content out to the broader crypto community, it also lets the YouTube algorithm know that I'm doing a great job. Now, if you guys enjoyed content like this and you want more of it, consider subscribing to Dapp Central. And last but not least, if you have any questions or comments surrounding this particular topic or anything going on in Cardano, then feel free to go ahead and make sure to leave that comment down below. That said, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.